Good morning, everyone. My name is Viviana Velandia, and this is my learner's profile. My conception about learning and why is it important in my life? I think learning is a discovery process of the complex inner and outer world. Inner because during the process of learning something, I discover myself a little bit more. For example, I can discover what I can and cannot do. Also what I must improve for being a better human being. And out there, because most of the stimuli, proofs, resources, help, guidance, among other features come from there to allow me have my learning process. So learning is very important in my life. And I'm not talking just about academic learning, but about experiences, interaction with the world and with myself. Learning is also important in my life because I strongly believe that we as human beings are in this world learning what we need to learn to evolutionate. Talking about my learning style, I learned by looking and by doing. So I have a special combination of these two styles, the visual and kinesthetic tactile styles. So tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn, Benjamin Franklin. Well, now let's continue talking about my strengths. Regarding the personal domain, I consider myself creative, curious, meticulous, simple, intuitive, charming, intelligent, and optimistic. About the professional domain, I consider myself propositive, persuasive, leader, and a kind of mediator. And about the academic domain, I am organized, analytical, and persistent. Let's end this part about my strengths with this quote. A beautiful woman grows strength from troubles, smiles during distress, and grows stronger with prayers and hope. Now, let's move talking about my weaknesses. In the personal domain, I am stubborn, indecisive, impulsive, too sensitive. I am also a dreamer. About the professional domain, I know that I am punctual. I am strict, too independent, and a little bit moody. About the academic domain, I have a tendency to be perfectionist, so I think that I complicate myself, but sometimes I'm really working to diminish that. I get easily distracted. I also waste time sometimes doing unnecessary things, and I am a tactful person. Well, let's continue talking about myself a little bit more. Now, let's talk about my resourcefulness to find information. Well, I would say that I take advantage of being curious, intuitive, and practical, so I move quickly every time I need something. I cannot keep doubts about something, so that's why I ask someone or simply search by myself for the answers until finding them understandable for me. Now, what about my intrinsic motivation in learning and doing? I consider it is strong because I realize that when facing difficulties, the main strategy I use is positive self-talk in order to keep trying or doing until achieving goals. About my planning skills with regard to time management, prioritization, short and long-term management skills, I must improve some key points. I must be more aware of the importance of having appropriate time management and avoid the tendency of wasting time doing unnecessary things. I must also be more persisting, acquiring the habit of establishing and fulfilling specific study moments, being concentrated on what I must do. Well, Now, what about my management of stress and relaxation when learning and doing things? I have learned that my physical and mental health are a priority in my life. So I apply some techniques to help myself calm down and keep balance. Um, when I feel overwhelmed or stressed, otherwise, it is impossible for me to continue. Some of these techniques are deep breath, counting until 10 or more if necessary, laughing, going for a walk, nature contact. Sometimes I hug trees. I like what I feel doing it. I also enjoy lying down on grass or walking on grass without shoes and socks. When I have enough time, I also practice meditation. I like listening to relaxing sounds or music, and I also enjoy dancing every time I can, especially with good companions. That's why I put these two quotes in this part. I love people who can make me laugh when I don't even want to smile. And the other one, take a deep breath. It's just a bad day, not a bad life. I say that to myself every time I need it. Well, about my tolerance to error making. What can I say? I've been improving this feature in my life because let me tell you that I used to punish myself feeling guilty when making errors, but not anymore. There is a lot to learn from error making, and now I am more aware of that. About my competences to troubleshoot situations, I try to be practical. I take time for analyzing situations from different perspectives and focus my attention on solutions. Mm, about my competences to work with others, let's say that according to this aspect, I keep in mind and try as possible to have an assertive communication with people I work with. Sometimes I take leadership and try to be concrete to achieve goals as soon as possible. I try to keep a positive attitude. What it is difficult for me is to work with stubborn people or people who complain all the time and do not have a proactive attitude. Talking about my beliefs on success, I believe that the first step towards success is within our minds. That's the key, the magic key. The way I think gives the path to the way I see the world. My ideas are the brushes I use to paint my life, so I am the one in charge in selecting the colors I want, regardless of the weather I can have. I believe myself capable, and even though difficult situations are hard to overcome, I face them as kind of challenges from which I sure I can learn a lot.
And the second step is to value people around me. That's the other part, very important, which I think must be taken into account towards success. Okay, now let's analyze about my beliefs regarding goal setting theory. I consider that if I don't set goals, I will lose effort. Goals are the compass to guide my learning process. Through goal setting, I'm helping myself become more self-regulated. For that reason, I must be careful when establishing my goals, keeping in mind their characteristics, specificity, proximity, difficulty, and of course, their purpose. Moreover, the development of goal setting builds the bridge towards self-efficacy, only if I keep in mind the establishment of challenging goals. Nowadays, I'm trying to apply more frequently the SMART goal setting. About my beliefs regarding the use of technology to develop autonomy, I think that using technology wisely become a useful tool to develop autonomy. I'm on the track of learning more about this. There is something to keep in mind. Technology is a tool, and we cannot be controlled by it, forgetting our human essence. I mean, we cannot permit to be absorbed by technology. We must maintain our humanity, as it was stated by Weil and Rose in 1997. The use of technology implies other processes that we must face. For example, if we want to avoid techno stress, I think that we must be more aware of technology use. About my competences to troubleshoot technology issues, I can mention some features. For example, with regard to the use of information and technology gadgets, I'm very experimental. I mean, without knowing much about technology, I like messing around and intuitively I find how to solve problems if they appear. In any case, after trying something that finally doesn't work, I request help from more experienced or expert people who show me the path. Regarding how I avoid being victim of techno stress, I just try to use technology for specific purposes. Characteristics of self-regulation have helped me with this aspect. And of course, an attitude of take it easy if unexpected problems appear. Now let's move towards the rationale. Well, here I'm going to explain why self-directed learning is a meaningful process for me, especially when implementing self-directed learning strategies as a teacher, as a learner, and as a guide. As a teacher, I can create a more appropriate environment for having an active, meaningful, and reflective learning process. I can also create opportunities to help others reach self-improvement. It gives me the way to set a path towards success, and of course, help others to do it. As a learner, I can be more aware of the process of learning by the use of metacognitive strategies. I can believe more in my own capabilities. I can reinforce positive self-talk and goal setting. As a guide, self-directed learning can show me the way to help others overcome self-doubt. It can help me create opportunities to help others become better human beings. But first, I must improve myself, becoming more self-regulated, identifying my needs, then developing action plans to improve. So, knowing this, I can help others improve themselves, talking from the experience. Some potential challenges that self-direction can make me face are more related to self-control, organization and correct use of information, and proper use of learning strategies. Moreover, I think that the biggest challenge could be to challenge myself by myself if I'm seeking self-efficacy, for example, because I cannot remain in a kind of comfortable zone, and especially being a teacher, what requires to be updated to provide my students with tools they need to grow. I cannot give what I have not achieved yet. Well, after all these deep analysis, I have established the following autonomous learning plan. From my personal domain, by doing daily, my purpose is to organize time efficiently through self-monitoring, and the concrete actions would be more organized, use a big board planner, and of course avoid distractions. My expected outcomes are not accumulated works, be stress-free, and of course sleep well. About the professional domain, from now on, my purpose is to use technology wisely through self-regulation. Through these concrete actions, avoid techno stress, more time control, and goal setting. And my expected outcomes are enhanced self-efficacy and have more time for myself. Okay, this is the list of references from I took information to support my ideas. Thank you very much for watching this presentation and listening to me. Goodbye.